Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to our third week of the Creative Recharge. We've loved having you all each and every Thursday so far throughout this, and looking forward to another great session. I'm going to kick it over to Scott Wilson to introduce our guest for this week.
Boy, what an exciting Thursday morning this will be with Creative Recharge. And I'm very excited to pass the baton to my dear friend, Jennifer Kirby. Jennifer is a member of the Steelcase applications group. Boy, she's so creative and disciplined. And with that, I'm going to say, hello, Jennifer, and it's all on you. Thanks.
So I'm really excited to be part of this creative morning. I've been looking forward to it. And I know that with creativity, it's a little bit unique because we hear and we read, oh, everybody's creative. Everybody can be a designer. And as a professionally trained, hardworking professional interior designer, but what about me? And so I feel like we're kind of in a unique spot where we've been trained to have a constant flow of creativity. And sometimes it's hard to turn it on, and sometimes it's even harder to turn it off, like in the middle of the night or when we're trying to solve something tough. So I don't know, as a super creatively charged design professional, I'm hoping that I can share some of my creative energy with you through 3 different exercises this morning. One of my favorite people at IDEO, who's the founder of the IDEO Toy Lab, his name is Brendan Boyle. He recommends starting every day with a creative warm-up. And today we're going to do 3 mini well, I call them workouts, but 3 mini warm-ups for creativity. And these should help you be even more creative today. And if you want more information on any of them, like if you want to do the full-blown one, totally let me know. I'll try and let you know where I've modified it. The first one, we're going to do a full-blown one. And for all of this, you're going to need, for the first exercise, you can do it on just a regular 8.5 by 11 page, or if you have a journal, you can do a page in your journal. You'll need to save half of your sheet or the back side of your sheet for the second half of the exercise. If you've got a pencil, that's totally fine. I've got, not that I'm endorsing anything, but I do have a favorite kind of crayon, and they're the Mr. Sketch twistable crayons because they smell too, which is kind of cool. So it's multi-sensory. Not only do they write really well, but they all smell super cool. So anyways, so if you want to go ahead and grab a piece of paper, or in your journal, you're going to need something to write with or to sketch with. And I'm going to give you some instructions, and this is going to go super fast. So settle in. And this is called the sunset exercise. And this is a warm up on creative constraints. Okay. All right. So when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go to the next page. And you've got 15 seconds to draw a sunset. I'm going to start the timer right now. 15 seconds, go. Cue the elevator music. Or not. I think it totally turned. Oh, and that's 15 seconds. Do you believe it? All right, so let's go to the next page. Okay, how many of you guys, and we can totally use the chat feature, or I can just kind of chat back and forth with Ryan since he's an easy target. What do you have? So I'm going to pull up mine because I did this with you guys. What do you have? Do you have a horizon line? Just kind of go through trees, sun, clouds, birds. Do you have any water? And just make a mental note of what you've got and what you don't have. Do you have any of these? Ryan, do you have any of these? All of these?
I have many of them. I have no birds. It's a cloudy day for my sunset.
That's cool. So I'll share mine on my little picture down here, and then we'll go to the next slide. So that's what mine looks like. 15 seconds, really fast. No judging. Come on, it's early. All right, we can go to the next slide. All right. So when I did this with a group at Creative, these are all what they had. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so what do you notice? And I'm going to pick on Ryan just because he's an easy target again. What do you notice, Ryan?
Well, everybody's got the little sun with a little line, rays of light coming out of it. Everybody learned how to do that.
They're all suspiciously similar.
They are.
Aren't they? All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so on that second piece of paper, or turn your paper over or use the bottom half, we're going to think about a specific sunset. Now I want you to think about the last time you were outside, the last time you were in someplace special. I want you to think about who you were with, what you were doing, and I am adding constraints onto this, okay? And I'm not going to give you any more time. So I'm going to set the timer for 15 seconds, and when you're ready, let's go.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. That was your music.
Thank you. All right, pencils down. Go to the next slide, sir. All right. So I say this as a few examples of what you probably don't have, because these are all super different. Isn't this weird? It always confounds me. And yesterday, whenever I did this is what I came up with. And you're like, is that a teddy bear on a rock? No, it's a Buddha. And are those two twins? No, that's me and my husband. We used to have the same haircut, but my hair is a little bit longer now. So it's very strange that when you add constraints, you actually get more creative ideas. It always confounds me because as a design professional, I don't like constraints. Don't tell me how many people you have. I'm going to fit as many as I can in there in a creative fashion. Or it seems like it should make it harder, right? But we actually got something different out of everybody just by adding more constraints, which is so weird. Constraints and creativity, there's a lot of research on this. So I would encourage you guys to take a look. If you wanted to go on HBR or Fast Company, or even some of our own 360 articles do a really great job about talking about creativity and ways to increase it. We'll head into our next exercise, and I am super excited about this, but I did this with my nephew yesterday, who's 5 years old, who has he has some behavioral issues, and he was able to do this in such a way, and I'll share his kind of monologue after. But what I want you to do is I want us all to stand up, and I'll do this with you, and it's kind of exciting. So I want you to stand up, and I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to keep mine open just because I want to be able to see any kind of spatial cues for my friends. But I'm totally going to walk you through this. So close your eyes, and now I want you to imagine that you're in a big open field, and you're beneath a beautiful blue sky. And in 3 seconds, you're literally going to blast around the moon. Yes, I know. You're like, I haven't left my house. Okay, 3, 2, 1, blast off! You're headed to the moon. And now I want you to spend the next 15 seconds and imagine yourself blasting around the moon. Go. Now you're headed back towards Earth. And crash landing. All right, sit back down. So, all right, I want to talk to you about what you were wearing. What were you wearing, Ryan?
I was wearing the uniform of the Space Force.
That's awesome. I was wearing a space helmet, but no space outfit, which is kind of fascinating. My nephew was wearing his shorts and a t-shirt, which I thought was fascinating. All right, did you have your hands up like Superman or Superwoman when you were blasting?
No, I was in a craft.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, I was not flying like Superman. I was a passenger aboard a ship.
Oh, very cool. Okay, I had my hands down to the sides, so I was kind of like, I'm not sure which, is it an Avenger? I can't remember when they like kind of go and they're like, yeah. Let's see here. And what happened as you went around the moon? Did you land on the moon? Like what else happened?
No, but I saw a bunch of little alien guys on the backside of the moon.
Oh, that's really
Made
cool. So they
friends
were
with
crowded
those guys.
like on the dark side of the moon?
Yeah, so I made friends with them and brought some of them home with me.
Okay, I am so glad that I put you in the category with my 5-year-old nephew with behavioral problems.
Yep, there you go.
He met aliens too, except he landed on the moon and he brought a buddy home.
Look at that.
And it was his imaginary friend, and my sister was like, thanks. Awesome.
I'm a 5-year-old. That's what that's out to be.
Oh my gosh. So that little exercise you can do anytime, but this is all around imagination and play to get into a more creative headspace. The guy, Brendan Boyle, he recommends doing creative little exercises before you start a meeting, before you start your day. And he says that it actually boosts your productivity by 12%. How crazy is that? Just by doing like a little minute exercise. I'm all for that. The last exercise that we're going to do is an IDEO exercise again, because I love IDEO. Steelcase has had a long-standing ownership, partnership, relationship with IDEO, and if you're not familiar with them, look them up. They're wonderful. They have some great classes. They do design thinking in really creative ways. This one is going to be modified from it's called the 30 circles exercise. So if you've done this before, we're going to do 10 circles instead. So grab your last piece of paper, and I want you to quickly draw 10 circles. They don't have to be beautiful. Those are mine. They're just kind of loose. They can overlap. It's all good. So draw 10 circles. And again, we're going to use our vivid imaginations. And I'm going to give you, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. And with these circles, I want you to either use colored pencils, crayons, whatever you have. If it's a pencil, if it's a Sharpie, that's great too. And I want you to turn these 10 circles into something other than a circle. So look at the circle and look around your room and be super creative. What else can you make out of that circle? Okay, I'm going to set the timer for about 3 minutes. Kind of funny how as we get older, we're so good at converging and making decisions and coming up with an answer and exercising judgment. And we have such a hard time diverging and coming up with diverse ideas and just having open discussions without judgment. And as designers, we're faced with this every single day. And I feel like even though the last task and this one are super simple, this is really about the power of imagination and how to have some fun. Because what we do is fun, we play, and we solve the world's problems. And I've been thinking a lot about the architecture and design community and how this is going to have such a heavy impact on us. And I would encourage you guys, as you're filling in your circles, we have about 1.5 minutes left. This is colorful commentary, by the way, so just take it with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, I feel like this is our time to reinvigorate our whole industry. So I'm so excited to see what comes out of this. I'm excited to see what happens with our field, because it's been under fire for the last 20 years. Ever since I got out of school, I feel like it's just been under pressure to be relevant. And I feel like this whatever comes out of this, this is going to be our time. And I'm super excited to see what happens. All right, we've got like 30 seconds left. So do the best you can. If you don't have time to draw it out, put a little note in the circle. And then I want you to, if you can, share whatever it was that your most creative circle was, and if it was at the beginning or if it was in the middle or the end. Pick on the guys on the slide or at the bottom, just because I can see you. But of course, I'll start with Ryan. So, all right, that is 3 minutes, folks. I'll show you what I've got, and I'll tell you what my most creative is. I didn't get to the last two just because I was talking, but I think my most creative was probably my spider web, and that was the one that I did at the very end. So, I mean, I had a lot of creative ones, but okay, Ryan.
So it's funny because you had pizza and I have pizza on mine. Cool. So we must both be hungry right now.
I think so. I love it.
But my favorite one is, oops, sorry, this is hard to do, is this one, which is the backside of a peephole on a door.
Ooh,
and that's like somebody's eye looking out.
Oh, that's really cool. I love it. Very cool. David, I can see you. Did you do this too?
I did.
Oh, tell me what your
very messy.
Was.
So, actually, my most creative, I think, might have been my first. I did like a record player. Excuse the messy drawings, but did a mouth and a pie. It is very hipster of me. It's very on brand. Yeah. Some of the other ones were like Planet Earth.
Oh, I love it. Because we had some creative warm-ups before this, I felt like my good idea was like a third of the way in, but typically it's that last third, right? So if you get down to like your 50th idea, it's like, that's the best one. It's usually the first 10 you need to just throw out, right? So be ready to crumple up the paper, be ready to throw it away, be able to come up with new ideas. Don't be afraid, reserve your judgment, don't judge yourself and others. And I don't know, that's all I've got for you this morning.
So we've got a couple of comments. Betty Moyer, who is participating today. Hello, Betty. Good morning. She said she linked her circles and made a fire pit for roasting marshmallows and making s'mores.
That's awesome.
I like that. Thinking outside of the box. And we do have, if anybody else has any questions, we do have one question from Lauren Austin. Good morning, Lauren. And she asks if there's a list of recommended 1-minute exercises that could be used to reference if we wanted to try to implement this in starting meetings or working with clients.
Yes, actually, I'm going to get a book. Hold on. I will get you a few, actually. Okay, these are my favorites. The first one. Oh, here's another one. Okay. I'm done.
So Jennifer is a book hog like me. She's probably got every book there ever was about this.
I do. It's kind of a mess, but I do have a shelf, and I'm happy to take a picture of my shelf if anybody's curious. This is an IDEO travel pack, and these are cards. I'm a big fan of cards for like solving problems. And actually, SY Partners, these are oldies but goodies, and Ryan knows all about these. But there's the superpower cards from SY Partners. Those are fun.
Those are the best.
And these are by SY Partners too, but they're the Unstuck cards. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's Conjure Your Creativity. Unstuck. SY Partners is out in New York and San Francisco. They're amazing. I highly recommend checking them out. Story cubes. These are also super fun. Ryan's laughing.
I'm not laughing.
All of this already. Okay, so you asked for books and a list. I don't have a list, but I do have tons of resources. Thinker Toys. It's a great book. Ryan, I think I already shared this book with you. Yep. The Rituals for Work. This is super, super fun, guys. And all the books that I recommend, they're not like business books. They're like picture books. Yeah, because designers don't want to read a business book. What are you doing? Okay, last one. Game Storming, oldie but goodie. Again, not a business book because it has fun pictures in it.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing these exercises there. You know, I think all of these are easy to replicate things and tools and exercises we can all carry forth into our daily lives pretty easily. So I appreciate you sharing those with us this morning. I've always admired your playfulness as a designer, and I think that does create sort of an infectious atmosphere for new ideas and designs and meetings. So again, thank you so much. We're about done for the day, unless there are any additional questions. We're looking forward to having Kevin Butler on next week. Kevin Butler is amazing. He's another member of the Steelcase team. Some of you may have met Kevin through the years. He's one of our well-being and wellness experts at Steelcase. And if you haven't met Kevin, you're in for a treat. He is super high energy, and he makes Jennifer seem like she's pretty subdued. But he's one of these guys that is always on the move. He's a self-proclaimed hyperactive person. And he probably has run 10 miles before you get out of bed, and then takes another 10-mile run at lunch, and then for fun he takes another 10-mile run after dinner. So we're in for a treat next week, and we're going to learn how his activity, physical activity in particular, contributes to his ability to be creative and to do the work that he does. So we're switching gears a little bit from mental to physical, and we're going to be talking about that connection next week. So with that, unless there are any other questions, I'll thank you and have a great creative day.
Thanks for sharing our journey.